The broken toilet.
What the hell are you talking about?
I literally just told you, not in English.
I can't believe it! Watching up, my good girls, thinking something to say. Watching out for my good girls, making that pay.
Payday! Payday!
Watching out for my good girls, thinking something smart to say. Watching out for my good girls, going out to make that pay. Ooh, 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 ooh. My good girls, my good girls, my good girls.
Good women.
That sandwich looks good. Hi. So last night I was talking about Ellen Burstyn, who I studied with at the Actor Studio when I was there observing. Now, Ellen Burstyn and Sam Shepard did a play called, they did a movie. It was a movie called Resurrection. It came out with a series of movies like Poltergeist, Altered State, Brainstorm. Remember Brainstorm was with Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood? Altered States, William Hurt. Poltergeist, Jo Beth Williams. Well, they did a little version of their supernatural film called Resurrection, which is with Sam Shepard and Ellen Burstyn. So they performed together. It's an interesting movie. I've only read about it. I haven't seen it. But I did get to see Ellen Burstyn at the Actor Studio when I was observing, and I was a student of the Actor Studio Drama School at the New School University around about the time Sean Baker was there and Bradley Cooper. And I got to meet Ellen Burstyn. Very, very pretty older lady. At the time she was going through the at the time she was going through Requiem for a Dream. She did Resurrection way later with Sam Shepard, the great playwright and actor, movie star. But anyway, it was interesting meeting her. She was very quiet when I met her in the lobby. She had an umbrella. It was a rainbow-colored umbrella. And I had just observed, ooh, my dear. Looks like a mild fender bender. I had observed a wonderful class with Ellen Burstyn. Try it again. Ellen Burstyn. For all you effeminate types that need it. Ellen Burstyn. For all you Oscar Wilde fans. Ellen Burstyn. Anyway, that went on. So there's two types of people, or I would say two types of men in the world. There's a type of man that cares what John Travolta looks like in the steam room. And there's a type of man that doesn't give a flying shit. Anyway, I did study with Ellen Burstyn. Also studied with Diane Salinger, Simone from Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. I did study at the Actor Studio. I did do off-Broadway plays. I did do plays in California. I've done plays all over Fort Worth and Dallas. And I am the producer, director, actor, and host of the Please Subscribe Show, which is here and is now. I am headed towards Southlake, Texas. Los Angeles is 1,441 miles away. I've made that trip before. The first time I did it, I left Denton, Texas. I had just auditioned for the Actor Studio for the first time. And I didn't get in. So I went to Hollywood. It was about 1,400 miles away. And I began getting on Hollywood sets as an actor. I did plays there. I met a director named Drake Doremus, who has directed many great movies. One of them, Like Crazy, is one of them that he's directed many. Zoe's another recent one. And I've been all over California. Then I went to New York, and I was told not to go to New York, and that's where I studied at the Actor Studio in New York City. But Diane told me, no, don't go, you'll starve. New York is really hard. And I went, and I studied there. I went through that. I've been here for 20 years. The guy's a nut right there. Okay. I've been here for 20 years since then. About almost 20 years. I've been through 2 marriages. I have 3 children. It's 1,441 miles to Los Angeles. There's an apartment called the Gershwin, and there's also an apartment called Paradise Gardens in Long Beach. There's apartments all over New York City. I'm sorry, Los Angeles. Los Angeles, California. I'm getting older. There's apartments all over Los Angeles. James Lipton was the one who invited me to go to New York City from Los Angeles the first time. Unfortunately, now James Lipton has passed away. Rest in peace, James Lipton. Do I need a Master of Fine Arts to be an actor? It's not required. It's 1,441 miles to Los Angeles. My vlogs will probably be about 10-minute segments until I get Wi-Fi set up. I'll figure all that out later. Although, as technology progresses, people will be able to do long edited vlogs just from their phone. But using Wi-Fi does help. I was doing my planes, trains, and automobiles little segment. I do have obstacles within myself that I have to try to overcome the best that I can. One actor that I think that has overcome quite a few obstacles is Joaquin Phoenix, because let me tell you something, that man is not perfect, but he did win Best Actor. There are some actors out there, and especially actresses, that have obstacles that they have to overcome, and they do end up winning. So we all have obstacles. None of us are perfect. And I think that's another thing that the Please Subscribe show is about. It's 1,441 miles away. Even if I had $100,000 saved, you could still go through that in a matter of months in Los Angeles. So I have to be careful And I know that I always will have. The first time I went to Los Angeles, I landed in Long Beach, California. Right before. It was actually, to be honest, it was December of 2001, I believe. So I graduated in December of 2000, so it was December of 2001. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. I left in August, so almost 9 months. When I first arrived, I arrived in Long Beach, California, right around Christmas time of 2001, and I stayed there until August. So about 8 months. By the time I left, I was accepted to the Actor Studio Drama School at the New School University in New York City. I had been in the movie The Majestic, the movie Moonlight Mile, with Jake Gyllenhaal and Dustin Hoffman. We know that The Majestic is with Jim Carrey. I was on an episode of The X-Files. It was right when Doggett was making his appearance. Robert Patrick, or leave a comment. I believe his name is Robert Patrick. And he chose me to be his body double in a scene in The X-Files. It's called 3 Words. I think it's resistance is futile. Then I stayed there, and I helped Drake Dormus create an indie film called The Bum, or it was a project that he was doing. It was still an independent film, student film, I guess you could say. It was a film that got him into AFI, and he was only 17 years old, around that age. Drake had a little theater. His mom had a theater out in Orange County at Santa Ana. It's got an Italian name, but they house a group called the Orange County Crazies, and Drake was part of that experience in Orange County. Now, he directed a play called House Divided, and I played Donovan. Eric Soderbergh was also in it. He was the lead in it. He played the young kid or stepkid that was going through his parents' divorce. And we did that play with a few other actors. I think a stand-up comedian type of guy was in it. And we did that for a while. And at that time, probably Mulholland Drive was being wrapped up. I mean, it was David Lynch's Mulholland Drive was being, kind of finished. Resurrection, let's go into Requiem for a Dream at that time, which was in the 2001 time, was probably already finished. Darren Aronofsky had finished Requiem for a Dream at that time. I saw it in Los Angeles. I also saw the score with Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was in it. I didn't see it with Marlon Brando. I wish I did. But I was looking for Marlon Brando when I was there. I wanted to offer him a script called Oscillate Wildly, and the working title, also, there's 2 working titles, Oscillate Wildly, and the other one was called Catching Marlon, which is about kidnapping Marlon Brando and taking him off to Texas. It was a kind of a comedy. I couldn't find him anywhere. Diane said that he'd hang out like at this, every once in a while he'd go to this Italian restaurant. I hung out at Ventura Boulevard, Mulholland Drive. Diane taught me on Mulholland Drive. I didn't even know Mulholland Drive was going to be a movie or anything when I was even there. But Diane actually trained me in Noble's house. I think his name is Tom Noble. And he directed, Tom Noble was the editor of Witness. He had an Oscar. I actually saw an Oscar on a mantle in Diane Salinger's house or Tom Noble's house, and we studied there with several actors. There were like maybe 10 or 20 actors that were there that were all studying. She studied with Stella Adler in New York. She also worked with the director of Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, Tim Burton. And that's what I did when I was there. I would go back and forth from Hollywood to Long Beach, from Long Beach to Hollywood. I got in a little bit of trouble with the law over a business license. Had to spend 17 hours in jail and pay a fine and do 28 days of hard labor on the side of the street. Got out of that, went to New York, studied at the Actor Studio, studied all kinds of stuff at the Actor Studio. I got in by doing a scene from Desire Under the Elms, which is Eugene O'Neill. That all went on until I got to New York. When I got to New York, I realized, wow, I shouldn't have left Los Angeles. I should have built more of a career. I should have done more serious work, you know. There was a chance for me when I was there. There was a new series that was coming out, I believe, on like Showtime or something like that. Leave a comment. And I believe it was Luke Perry that was chosen. And I had got the script for that. And it was called Jeremiah. And I had the script and everything. And I said to myself, if I get Jeremiah, even if I get the pilot of Jeremiah, then I won't go to the Actor Studio in New York. I won't pursue my MFA. I'll stay in Hollywood and I will work on Jeremiah. Well, it went to Luke Perry. So I went to New York and I started pursuing my MFA. I never got that. After about a year, I had an emotional kind of, I guess, emotional moment. You know, I don't want to say outburst, but it wasn't in public or anything like that. It was in a laundry room where I was staying on 21st Street between Broadway and Park Avenue in New York, in a flat. And they had a laundry room, and there was an emotional thing that went on in a laundry room. Not in front of anybody. It was by myself. No one was there. No one witnessed what I did. But I poured a bucket of paint in a washing machine. It was the wrong washing machine, and ended up getting into a woman's woman student's on her clothes. So, you know, she ended up getting like paint on her clothes or whatever. I didn't see her. I didn't know that was her clothes, all this stuff or whatever, you know. Maybe I did. I think I went through my clothes. It looked like there was some lipstick or something in my clothes. So I don't know. I got mad, picked up I picked up a bucket of paint and I poured it into a washing machine or something. I don't know. No one was around. No one saw me do it. I was by myself when I did it. Never talked to the lady really. Anyway, Lipton called me in. He sat me down with some other people in the office. And he said, oh, look, you need to go home, get some help. I said, okay. So I jumped on a plane. I stayed in New York and finished up a play. I was doing an off-Broadway play called Without Consent. And it was a reading. It was a reading of the play, okay? So it was a workshop reading of the play at 13th Rep Theater. Finished up that, got my stuff together, and finally jumped on the plane, went to Euless, and I started writing a book. Wrote a few books and things like that. Did a few plays. I worked for Sage and Silo Theater for a little bit. And then I also worked at the Dallas Children's Theater, Hip Pocket Theater, and a few other theaters. And I wrote many screenplays. I've written like, I don't know, 50 screenplays, 50 plays, poetry, all kinds of stuff. I write all kinds of stuff. I've written books and everything. So I did that for about 20 years. And in the meantime, and throughout that, about 2013, well, there was a short trip I took. Well, it wasn't short, but I think it was 2010, I went to Maine. I lived there for almost 2 years, about 17 months. I worked in a wood mill for about 15 months and came back, married my second wife, and had 3 children with her. Was married for about 4.5, maybe 5, well, I guess about 5.5 years. Yeah, I was married for about 5.5 years. She left with all the kids, took everything. And I eventually, after starting to do dailies and trying to lift off 2 independent project films, I decided to just create a show called the Please Subscribe Show, which is what you're watching right now. So that's kind of everything that I went through in a nutshell. And right now, I'm only allowed, or I was only allowed, supervised visits with the children. I did not go and have those supervised visits because coronavirus happened. So I chose not to go to the special facility to see my children. All right? Okay? You got your problems, I got mine. You got your good things, I've got my good things. And I've got mine, and you know. So this is who I am, right? What I'm telling you is part of my life, okay? That's what happened. It's not over until you give up. So whatever you go through in life, it's never over until you give up. And when I mean you give up, I mean when you die. And as long as you can breathe, you pretty much can act. Look, friends, cinema, David Lynch makes it very hard. He makes it very hard. Okay? You could probably rip off Jack Nicholson as an actor, but as a filmmaker, you cannot rip off David Lynch. Okay? He makes it very hard. Why? I don't know. He's a Philadelphia Yankee. He got to California and everything was just bright, real bright. The sky was bright, sunshine everywhere, just lots of light. Strange, very strange. Look, it's very strange, very strange. It's very strange, okay? But you can still tell your story, okay? David Lynch is not and will not be the only filmmaker. And same thing with all the rest. He makes it very hard. Now, actors probably have it very good with David Lynch. The actors have it very easy, okay? It's very easy with David Lynch if you're an actor. But if another filmmaker, it gets real hard, right? Because there's the WBH, what's his name? Spiritus Mundi. Spiritus Mundi. It's the Spiritus Mundi, right? It's the thing that's unanswered. It's meditation. Lots of meditation all day long. Meditation, just put the camera down and just meditate for a very long time. Everything is quiet. Very quiet. Look, it's green lighted. See, I just green lighted the picture. The movie's green lighted. All the studios are in. It's green lighted. I am in a dry area right here. There's the 2 bars. This is what you call dry. Now, harvest, that's a harvest sign. And I'm going straight this way because I'm not from Philadelphia. I'm from a little place called Roanoke, Keller, Texas. And I'm going straight this way, right here, the straight way, right here. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. No, I'm actually being serious. I'm very serious. Very serious. I'm very serious. Very, very serious. Very serious. Another big fan. 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 There's another big fan. And here comes another big fan. And another big fan. And I'm going to sue that person and that person. No, I'm just joking. And I'm going to sue that person, another big fan. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm really being serious. Well, I guess I'm being serious. I don't know. I probably won't. That's really nice, though, right there. I guess I need to come back from work or something at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Can't believe they planned that just to be in this freaking show. There's harvest. And there's a guy on a motorcycle, and there's no light there. The lights are actually covered up. Right down that way. Those lights are covered up. That is a lot of majestic stuff. That is just majestic. Just cinematic and beautiful. Just beautiful. Loud and projected. Very loud. Everything's very clear. It's very clear. The weight limit is 25 tons, and we're traveling at about 35 miles per hour. I don't know the kilometers, but I think it's around 40 kilometers, and the temperature is about 69 Fahrenheit. I do not know what the metric system part is on that, but I know that the Fahrenheit is at 69. And we are dealing with a day, a certain day. I believe it's the 1st. It's approaching summertime. I want to say that it might be June. Leave a comment, but I'm going to say around June. And we are looking at the 1st of June. I could be wrong, but I think that I'm actually right. And we're dealing with 219 for Fran Lebowitz fans. Not a lot of LTE, but we are traveling now 27 miles per hour. Nope, back up to 28. Went right up to, 29 miles per hour. We are on a country road not too far from Harvest in the state of Texas. It is the year of 2021 AD, which stands for the year of our Lord. Stop calling me a nut. I mean the middle of nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Absolutely. Real nice. Real nice. The Grand Central Station, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, on a road in the middle of nowhere. What in the world? This is a flag with a duck on it. Not a duck, it's a pelican flag. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. You have to use the imagination when it's on you, as long as the imagination's happening in some form or fashion. What in Sam Houston's HE double hockey sticks are we dealing with here? What in Sam Houston's HE double hockey sticks are we dealing here? So we have to get a PIN code only. PIN code only. Lift Master. So Lift Master. Like a phone call or entry code only. The Fahrenheit now moved up to 70 Fahrenheit, and the way to figure out the metric system or whatever that transition to Celsius. You do something with a 9, you slash it, there's a 5, you times it by something. You add 32 and it equals. I've done it before. Forrest explains it very well. Very well. You take the numbers, you divide them, you do all this mumbo jumbo magic, and it makes it right into Celsius. Or you can Google it. It's put 69 Fahrenheit, it just went down to 69. $69 Fahrenheit, you just mumbo jumble it right into Google. Or you can use Safari, you can use, ooh, look at this guy right here. That's pretty cool right there. Pretty awesome. Right back to the method. A moment of silence. The man told me to go around. He said, find the visitor center. Find the visitor center. Go around. Give them the address. They'll let you in. We got to give them his food. Food for friends. Now that is a nice house right there. Right there. Got a psycho behind me. That is a very nice house right there. And it's very much probably abandoned. Got a lot of cows right over that way. A lot of cows. So I gotta find the other visitor center entrance. That the guy's hauling a porter john. Or a portaloo. Or a john that you pee in. A place to pee in or whatever. Very clear. Very, very clear. It's very clear. Ooh, there's some clouds there. Clouds. There's clouds. That's how you say it. Clouds. There's clouds over that way. A bunch of clouds. Clouds. C-L-O-U-D-S. Clouds. Clouds. There's clouds in the sky over there. Clouds. They're all gonna jump in a lake. They'll jump in a lake all at the same time. They're gonna jump in a lake. Everybody's gonna jump right in a lake. Jump right in the lake. Going around for the visitor center. We're on Blair Road. Just like the lady that was in The Exorcist. Okay? This had me going around this way. Looking for it right now. Looks like I'm gonna have to turn around. And I'm in like Film City. This is like big time, like an old Sam Shepard film. We're backing up. There's some horses way over there. Beautiful horses way over that way. And that, my friends, is nice. Very nice. It's real nice. It's a real quiet farm. Very nice. Very, very nice. Probably abandoned farm too, right there. That's very nice right that way. Somewhere off Blair and Florence Road. That's actually Blair that I'm on. That's Florence. I'm trying to get to the visitor center around the other side, but it's gonna reroute me right back to that side entrance. And I think probably the guy knows that, because there was no description on how to get, or no information on how to get to his little visitor center kind of thing. Look, Robert De Niro's out there making these photos of himself. You know, he's like 70 something, trying to act like he's a young man. And look, since I saw Stars Born, I'm not impressed with Bradley Cooper. I'm not afraid of him. Without the actor studio and all those people, he ain't crap. He ain't crap. Now, here's another thing I'm gonna say. I wish I could go over to that fence right there, and I wish I could take a piss on it. I wish I could pee on that fence right there. I'll piss all over the fence. That woman right there is walking her baby without a sidewalk. Okay, I found the visiting center. There's like the little bridge that goes over it right there. About to pull up on the visiting center. There's another car going this way. It's a Grand Central Station out in the middle of the country. That's the visiting center bridge. We are in Robson Ranch. Slight little beep. This is right alongside a golf course. So these would be like houses that would be in True West. It's called Robson Ranch. But there's a golf course right around here. These little houses that Lee's mother would live in before she went to Alaska. Lee and Austin's mom in True West. Yeah, Lee and Austin's mom would live here. Well, the mom is only in the play for a little bit. And Solomon, or is it Saul, would come and visit. It's like a ranch kind of thing with a golf course. Very Sam Shepard, True West kind of thing. Talks about a golf course. See, in True West, Lee did not break into houses that were occupied and steal a bunch of toasters. I gotta watch my tongue. He broke into empty houses, because all of these houses right here are kind of like camps. Not all of them, but some. Some are empty because people go and visit these houses, or they're like timeshare because it's on the edge of a golf course. It's in a club. So they're not always occupied. So when Lee talks about stealing toasters, he's talking about stealing toasters from empty houses, where people come and visit those houses for a little bit and then they leave. He lived out in the desert. So Lee was actually talking about empty houses. That's how he was able to steal all those toasters in the play. And Austin was in that empty house writing a screenplay because his mom was in Alaska. She was visiting elsewhere. It was like a retirement community almost, where people were there some of the time and some of the time not. Look at all these houses. A lot of these houses are occupied, but not every single one of them are. So it was a great score, as he said. You know, as Lee said. You got to read True West by Sam Shepard. See, they're playing golf right there. A bird tried to fly in the shot. He missed it though. And Austin goes off and plays golf with the Hollywood guy, Saul or something like that. And they talk about True West. Well, they talk about a screenplay that he's trying to write. A true Western. And the play is called True West by Sam Shepard. Very good. So Mom took off to Alaska. His name is Saul Kimmer. Saul Kimmer was the Hollywood guy. Then you got Lee and Austin and his mom. Now his partner in film spotting called him Francis Ford Coppola. And the other announcer called him Francis Ford Coppola. So what is it? Coppola or Coppola? I would think Coppola, right? Right here, we got to obey warning signs in the state law, but also we're going 70 miles per hour, right? About 70. And we're going towards Argyle and Justin. So you're working by candlelight here? Isn't that what the forefathers did? They worked by candlelight? I'm just trying to figure it out, Austin. Where's Mom? In True West, Sam Shepard announces the play with the character descriptions. Austin has no age listed. Okay, we can kind of figure out maybe what his age would be, but it's not listed. He doesn't put a number on his age. So we don't know exactly how old he is, but we do know from the description that he's a Hollywood screenwriter with a wife and children. We don't see the wife and children, but that's how he describes him. Now, Sam Shepard describes Lee as a drifter, and that Lee is his brother, and that Lee is his older brother, right? So he has an older brother. So Austin, the writer, has an older brother, Lee, who is a drifter. He gives a little more description than that. Saul Kimmer is a Hollywood producer. That's it. That's all it says. And then it says mom. There's a mom at the end of it. Now, in True West, it's kind of about, they say, sibling rivalry. But also, it's kind of about the difference between two different types of men. There's one type of man, and there's another type of man. And how we view different types of men. It's also about writing a story. It's been done very well by Gary Sinise and John Malkovich. Did a very good production. It's also been done very, very good, very well by Philip Seymour Hoffman, who's passed away, rest in peace, and John C. Reilly on Broadway. I believe Ethan Hawke has had a stab at it. And also, I did it when I was younger. I was in my mid-20s. Me and a playwright friend did it. A little apartment my mom had set up far before I left for Hollywood. You know, we did it for an English class on a video production. It was a video production of it. It's floating around there somewhere on YouTube. True West is a great play to do. It's a wonderful play. I would say it's one of Sam Shepard's very best play. Big fan. And True West is an important play because it also deals with the relationships of, well, it deals with the connection of the father and the sons and brothers, or the brothers and the father. Even though we don't see the father in it, we only hear about him. So it's a really good play with great dialogue. Sam Shepard was a master of scene design. This play is a great example of how you can use the scenery to entertain, and also just the dialogue alone is worth it. A great play. He was a great musician and a great a drummer and great musician, great playwright. So the guy that says Coppola rather than Coppola on Film Spotty, he was the sound folio of the Close Encounters with Spielberg. Calls him Coppola. So he seems like he's somebody. This is like the music narration of the film. So it's all music. They talk about diegetic, non-diegetic. The scene where the spaceship is flying around over Richard Dreyfuss. The spaceship comes in, makes some noise. That's diegetic. When the music comes up and it's all John Williams or whoever he used, leave a comment. That basically is a non-diegetic. Now the narration or the voiceover, I would say, was non-diegetic. It's kind of like the music outside of the film or outside of the story. Everything within the story, that sound is diegetic. Diegetic. The sound of my car, all that stuff is diegetic. If music would come up, a deer right there, or the deer sign. If music were to come up, it's outside of everything else, that's non-diegetic. You get it? All right. Yeah, there's Buc-ee's. It's a little Buc-ee's right there. Back at Buc-ee's. It's an American flag. Yesterday was Memorial Day.